You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I am your host, Steph, and my goodness, have we entered the Brock Purdy era in such a great fashion. The 49ers absolutely dismantled the Bucs today, and it is mostly because of Brock Purdy and what he was able to do on offense. Had a lot of questions about him coming into this game, a lot of cautious optimism. You know, I liked what I saw from him against the Dolphins, but I was like, hold on, let's just see what he does against a better defense, that better defense being the Tampa Bay Bucs. And what does he do? He looks even better than he did against the Dolphins. He looked amazing today. I'm going to talk all about it. But first, let's just get into some of the things that happened in this game. Really quickly, though, there are some injury updates that Kyle Shanahan is giving right now. So I am going to provide those for you. So Deebo Samuel, Kyle Shanahan said it is most likely a high ankle sprain, which is actually, it feels like that's a relief, right? Because at first when he was getting carted off, I was thinking the worst. I was thinking he's going to be out for the season. High ankle sprain, probably going to be keeping him out for a few weeks. But we won't know for sure probably until tomorrow because they are going to do some MRIs on his ankle. So we'll probably get a better picture of how long he's going to be out in the coming days, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. So the good news is it's not a season-ending injury. It's a high ankle sprain. Probably will be out a couple of weeks. So that's the news on Deebo Samuel. As far as Kevin Givens, I haven't heard anything about him quite yet, but Kevin Givens went out with a knee injury. And as far as Kerry Hyder goes, he is apparently, according to Jennifer Lee Chan, one of the 49ers beat writers, he was seen in good spirits after the game. So as he exited, I believe it was an ankle injury. It was either ankle or knee for Kerry Hyder. There were conflicting reports on what injury it was for Hyder, but the good news is it seems like he's in good spirits, so maybe they escaped something worse for Kerry Hyder as well. Both Givens and Kerry Hyder exiting the game was kind of a big deal because Hassan Ridgeway already is out for multiple weeks. So they're losing some depth in the interior of that defensive line. And hopefully both Givens and Hyder can be okay. But I will keep checking Twitter here. And if there's any updates on those guys, I will let you guys know. But what we do know is Deebo Samuel, per Kyle Shanahan, most likely a high ankle sprain. But let's get into talking about this game. So before the game started, there was a couple of inactives, none, really surprising. The one notable one was Ty Davis Price. He was inactive, and Tevin Coleman was elevated for this game. Tevin Coleman's on the practice squad. So that made me a little nervous because I was like, oh God, is Tevin Coleman going to get carries? But no, I think he just played special teams, and that made sense because with Tarvarius Moore being out for a few weeks, they need someone to fill in and get those special team reps. So anyway, also for the Bucs, they didn't have their safety Antoine Winfield. They did not have their safety Mike Edwards, and they did not have their corner Sean Murphy Bunting. So they were very shorthanded on their secondary, and they also were missing their right tackle, Tristan Wirfs. So a lot of big losses for the Bucs going into this game. So just starting off the game, like the Bucs won the toss, they deferred. Okay, they wanted to see Brock Purdy take a stab at it first, which I totally get. They want to have Purdy feel some pressure early, see how he does, and so. I think that first drive was the perfect example of Purdy not having to carry the load on offense because there's so much talent around him. And Cal knows this too. As long as you just get the ball out to your playmakers, they will do the rest. The drive started out a little shaky, right? Brock Purdy was sacked. That was the very first play of the game. He was sacked off the safety blitz, but he was hit with his helmet So it was a personal foul penalty, and the 49ers got 15 free yards out of it. So while that could have shaken up Purdy a little bit, gotten him a little nervous for the game, it absolutely did not. I can't even express to you or describe just how calm this man looked. He's just poised from start to finish. I was completely blown away by how comfortable he looks back there in the pocket. So, just on that very first drive, there was a 3rd and 7. Purdy hit George Kittle, big throw to get that conversion. And then the following two plays, Christian McCaffrey with a big carry of 21 yards, and then Deebo Samuel capped it off with a touchdown out of the backfield. So the 49ers on that first drive, 4 pass plays to start the drive, 2 run plays to finish. So Kyle not shying away from throwing the football, even with his rookie under center. I was kind of expecting that, they would try to establish the run early, get him a little comfortable. But no, Purdy does not need that. Clearly, he has enough confidence on his own that he doesn't need to set up the run, to set up his passing. So that first drive was impressive for the 49ers, and from what I saw out of Brock Purdy. And then so the Bucs get the ball after that. Kevin Givens, he gets hurt in the first defensive drive of the game, and that's a huge blow, like I mentioned, because Hassan Ridgeway already out a few weeks. Kinlaw still on IR, so Kerry Hyder Jr. Goes in his place. As we know, Kerry Hyder Jr. later in the game ended up getting injured, so big blow to their rotation. We'll learn a little bit more about Hyder and Givens' injury, I'm sure, at some point later today. Let me just check if there's any updates on either one of those guys. No, I haven't. So I guess Kyle Shanahan didn't give an update on those guys. So maybe that's good news. But if anything, we'll hear more tomorrow or throughout the week. So on that first Bucs drive, though, 49ers defense not able to get off the field on 3rd downs a couple of times. And the Bucs were kind of moving the ball, which I don't panic about anymore, because I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but DeMeco Ryans kind of just likes to see what the opposing offense is going to do, and he kind of fills them out in that first drive. So I'm not surprised anymore by opposing offenses being able to move the ball on the first drive. It's just DeMeco, trying to see what they're trying to do. And then he'll reassess and adjust as the game goes on. And that's pretty much what happened. There's a few times in this game that Tom Brady is like nearly sacked, probably like 4 more times. And in that very first Bucs drive, it was a great example. Charles Omenihu and Nick Bosa nearly got the sack on Tom Brady, but Brady just barely able to get it out. And, it's not a sack, but it ended up being incomplete, I believe. So the Bucs tried to go for a 50-yard field goal, but it was wide right. That was just bad. I think I could have probably kicked a better field goal attempt than that. So the 49ers, their lead remains 7-0. And then Vita Vea, the Bucs nose tackle, very talented player, one of their better players on defense. He was questionable to return. As we know now, he did not return to the game. So that was a huge blow for the Bucs defense. And then, on that second 49ers drive, they kind of shoot themselves in the foot with 2 back-to-back penalties, and they're forced to punt. But the 49ers didn't punt very often in this game. I'll just say that. And the Bucs on their following drive, there was like a coverage bust. I don't know really whose fault it was watching the game live, but coverage bust that got Bucs a wide open touchdown to Mike Evans. But thankfully, it got called back due to a hold on their left tackle, Donovan Smith. And so the Bucs have to punt shortly thereafter. So defense was fortunate for that one, but it kept their first half shutout alive. And the 49ers, they get the ball back. They get some runs going to move the ball in this drive, and that gets them into the red zone. Brock Purdy showing a lot of confidence in that drive. On a 3rd and short, he had Kittle open beyond the sticks, but he elected to go with Tyler Kroft in the end zone. Kroft couldn't come down with it, but he drew a penalty. And so the 49ers got a fresh set of first downs, which made way for Brock Purdy to then run it into the end zone on a scramble on second down. Again, just this guy has no shortage of confidence to have George Kittle open for the first down. He could have taken that. He didn't. He wanted to go for the score, just showing aggression there. And, thankfully it was able to draw the penalty, and that's why the 49ers were able to then score off of the Brock Purdy scramble. And I love to see Brock Purdy's pocket awareness too. He has a lot of athleticism. You can see there were several moments where the Bucs did get some pressure on Purdy, but Purdy is just able to move around in the pocket well. He's able to escape pressure. He's shown some athleticism, which I like. He's not a statue in the pocket by any means, and he's able to extend drives either just with his legs. He's able to keep his eyes upfield. Things like that, they go a long way. So thankfully, the 49ers, they went up 14-0, and then the 49ers defense forced a 3-and-out on the other side, getting some pressure on Tom Brady. And so luckily, we get to see Brock Purdy again. Let that man cook. He hit Christian McCaffrey for a 27-yard touchdown. That was a beautiful pass by Purdy. Pressure in his face, perfectly thrown. Excellent timing and accuracy. Like I was just so far and away impressed by what he did today and what he showed. So Bucs got the ball back, but they gave it right back quickly after the 49ers defense got another 3-and-out, and so the score remained 21-0. Deebo Samuel then on a run up the middle, he got his knee rolled up on, which actually we saw ended up being his ankle, and he ended up losing the football, so he fumbled. And, but we weren't even worried about the fumble. We were more worried about the fact that Deebo Samuel got hurt, and obviously there's some panic. I mean, you never want to see one of your best players get hurt, especially a guy as important to this offense as Deebo Samuel, but he got carted off, and it was tough to watch because, Deebo was on the cart, obviously very emotional. And when you see a player get that emotional, you're thinking the worst as well. So, obviously that was a huge blow for the team today, but it ended up not mattering much in today's game. As we know, Kyle Shanahan said shortly after the game, a little bit ago, that it's most likely a high ankle sprain for Deebo Samuel. So he's going to probably miss a few games, but it still feels like the 49ers avoided worst case scenario with Deebo Samuel. So hopefully he'll be back some point for the playoffs. So the Bucs following drive, they get in the red zone, big downfield play to Chris Godwin. Fred Warner was on coverage on that one, and that's a tough cover for Fred Warner to be on a wide receiver as good as Chris Godwin. So I'm not even mad at Warner for that one. And then on 4th and 1, they're in the red zone. Tom Brady attempts a pass to Mike Evans, but it's thrown very low. I don't know. It was a weird throw, and they ended up turning the ball over on downs. So to this point in the game, it was still a shutout, 21-0. So we're okay with that because we want to see a lot of Brock Purdy. We got to see a lot of Brock Purdy today, and he made his first mistake of the day. After that, he threw an interception to Bucs Anthony Nelson, but fortunately, it was negated by a holding penalty on the Bucs. Somewhat of a questionable call, I think, but the 49ers got fortunate again, and so that didn't end up counting. And what was most impressive, you throw an interception, you kind of get down on yourself a little bit. Purdy looked upset, but it's how you react after an interception what matters the most, right? And I think it's good to know that Brock Purdy responded in a big way. So the 49ers did get in field goal range after that penalty, and it's right before the half, so they're up 21-0, so they're probably fine with just any points here. But Brock Purdy does not settle for the field goal. The very next play after the overturned interception, Brock Purdy, free rusher coming on his face, coming towards his face, throws it to Brandon Ayuk. It was a little underthrown if I'm nitpicking, but the Bucs pretty much forgot to cover Ayuk on that one, so it didn't even matter. And Purdy made them pay. The 49ers go up 28-0. And Brandon Ayuk, by the way, just absolutely cooked his man on that route. And so you love to see it. Ayuk does that like at least once a game, maybe a few times a game. We don't always notice, but he's always cooking his defender, and he had him covering air on that one. So 49ers up 28-0 at the half. I'm going to look at some comments here before we talk about the second half. Some random Patriots fan says, really hope for the 49ers' sake Jimmy G is back for the playoffs. I'm pulling for you guys to win it all since New England nor Tampa will do it. Look, okay, what's crazy is that before the game, Ian Rappaport reported that it was going to be a 3-month timetable for Jimmy Garoppolo to return, which is interesting because Adam Schefter was the one who said it was going to be 7 to 8 weeks. So conflicting reports, you got to wonder where this information is coming from. Maybe it's Garoppolo's agent. I don't know. But the 49ers also elected to not put Jimmy Garoppolo on injured reserve, which to me, that makes me seem like they are holding out hope that he might return. So I truly do not know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be back or not. I would err on the side of caution and I guess just assume that he's not going to be back. So that's where I'm at on Jimmy Garoppolo. But yeah, I mean, with how Brock Purdy looked today, though, they don't need to rush Jimmy Garoppolo back. If Brock Purdy's going to look like he did today, the rest of the way, I think the 49ers are going to be all right. And as Philip Bonger says, BCB era has arrived. Absolutely. Chuck seconds that. He said he stunts on them. And then my brother Fabio here says 49ers dominated on all phases of the game. And yes, we don't talk about special teams a lot, but even in special teams, the 49ers were cooking the Bucs today. And it was just an all-around great showing by them. Philip Unger says, I heard Brady's agent called social services on the 49ers defense for elder abuse. Oh, man. There were a lot of plays, though, where, like, Tom Brady was talking to the refs, like, hey, like, you're not going to do anything about this? Yeah, typical Tom Brady. But RJ here says, Purdy rocked out with his Brock out. I like that. That's that's one way to put it, RJ. That's one way to put it. Greenlaw. Yeah, I was going to talk about Greenlaw. He had a great game today. Drake Greenlaw, 15 total tackles, 1 interception. And yes, he got a autograph from Tom Brady after the game. Incredible stat line from Drake Greenlaw. He had a tremendous game, and he's just keeping it up. He's been doing this all season. Even after he got his extension, he has not let his foot off of the gas. And he's just been great for this team. I'm in report says OBJ on line 1. Interesting. I mean, I think the 49ers were kind of out of the OBJ sweepstakes for a few weeks now, and he had some finalists, right? But now he's like, there's no point in me signing with anyone in the regular season. And then we saw the Cowboys, Jerry Jones said he wasn't encouraged or something like that by OBJ's physicals. So I don't know. Do the 49ers need OBJ? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they do. Yeah, it's going to suck to have Deebo Samuel out for a few weeks, but let's find out how long Deebo is going to be out before we start making calls to OBJ. Melissa says, Steph, you see Dre got Brady to sign his picked ball. Yeah, that's some legendary stuff right there. I didn't even know he had him sign the intercepted ball. Like, that's stuff of legends right there. That's iconic. I love that for Dre. Monica, my cousin here, says, such an amazing game. So happy for Brock and the team. Prayers up for Deebo. Yes, absolutely. Monica, I don't know if you missed it earlier, but Deebo Samuel most likely high ankle sprain. So we'll just have to wait and see how long that means he's going to be out. But that's usually a multi-week injury with the hope that he would be back for the playoffs. Melissa says, smash that like button. Smash that like button for Steph, like her Bosa vids. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you have not yet. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Appreciate all the love. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Iman says, also time for Danny Gray to cook. He caught his first NFL pass today. I did not know that was his first pass. I don't know what I thought he had caught a pass before, but maybe it was because like I've seen him in games and he's had targets, but I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought about the fact he hadn't caught a pass yet, but good for him. Good for him. Philip Unger says Seattle D was on the field for less than 40 minutes today. I'm betting 300 yards or more, over 40 minutes today. I'm betting 300 yards rushing on Thursday. Yeah, so Seattle lost to the Panthers today. Thank you, Panthers, for doing that favor for us. So the 49ers now could clinch the NFC West with a win on Thursday. 49ers play Seattle on Thursday in Seattle, which is always a tough environment. So that will be another challenge for Brock Purdy, right? But based on how he played today against that tough defense, I don't think anything really rattles Purdy. Like he just, it doesn't look like anything phases him at all. Like, again, going back to the very first play of the game being the sack, he wasn't even fazed by that. Like, he didn't let that rattle him at all. Like, to start the game on that bad of a foot, and it's not his fault, right? He was sacked, free rusher. But to start the game like that could get in your head, and no, he had no issues with it. So I think I feel good about Purdy going into Seattle, and obviously I feel good about Seattle defense being tired going into that game. It should be a really great competitive game from both sides, though. Yeah, I agree, Monica. It seemed like a knee injury at first for Deebo, but they did show the replay after, and they said, yeah, it's an ankle. Like, his ankle was like folded on over someone. So yeah, I guess it's best case scenario. Monica asks, is Thursday Night Football only going to be on Prime, or will it get aired on local networks? So I believe it's Thursday Night Football is usually only on Prime, but when it's your local team playing, so Bay Area networks will have it on the local networks, I believe. I'm pretty sure. That's usually how it historically has been. Yeah, Fabio confirms it'll be on the local stations. So luckily I have Amazon Prime, and I will be tuned into the game. Fabio says, what jersey to grab for Christmas, CMC or Purdy? Choices to make. Have they even made Brock Purdy jerseys? Do those even exist? So, like, do they bother making those before the season? They might have to start expediting those, the production of Brock Purdy jerseys at this point after today's game. But yeah, all right. Okay, I was going to talk about the second half, but let's be honest. This game was over before the half. It was 28-0. I'll just talk about some of the few things, the notable things that happened in the second half. So Tom Brady, he threw the first interception of the game. He threw it to Tashawn Gibson. Then Christian McCaffrey took a carry for 38 yards, a touchdown, and the 49ers went up 35-0 at that point, and they did not look back. Tom Brady threw another interception to Dre Greenlaw. We talked about Dre Greenlaw. He had 15 total tackles today. Just an amazing game by him. Greenlaw actually tipped the pass, and it ended up it took a lucky bounce right to him. Fell right to him. But great play, heads-up play by Greenlaw, not only to tip the pass, but also to come down with the interception after it. And that was Tom Brady's second interception of the day. And really, it was just the 49ers' second punt of the day in the third quarter. So it was obviously a good day for them. And the Bucs ended up scoring. They got one touchdown, and honestly, even that touchdown was like a lucky touchdown because I think it got tipped. I don't know who tipped it. I think it was Greenlaw that like slightly tipped it or something, and it just ended up bouncing right to another what's it called, another wide receiver that was like right there, and he made a great grab. Like he had to really get his fingertips on it to reel that in, and he was able to get the touchdown. So that even that one was kind of lucky for the Bucs, and that was their only score of the day. And as I mentioned, Kerry Hyder hurt his ankle towards the end of the game. He didn't return, but it seems like he is okay. But because we didn't get any news about him. Look at this picture. So Matt Barrows he posted this picture not too long ago. That's Kyle Shanahan. That is Kyle Shanahan with Brock Purdy after the game. What do you think they're talking about there? That's a good picture right there. Just I can't imagine how Brock Purdy is feeling after the incredible game that he had. Seeing his family there, his dad emotional after seeing his son, score one of those touchdowns. It's got to be an incredible feeling for all of them. And man, it's just a great game. Josh Johnson ended up finishing the game for the 49ers because, they were up by so much late in the game. Look, Brock Purdy became the only quarterback to beat Tom Brady in his first career start. That's amazing. And we also got to remember the fact this is Mr. Irrelevant doing this. And so he's breaking barriers for future Mr. Irrelevance to come. He was 16 of 21 passing, 185 passing yards, 3 total touchdowns, the 2 passing touchdowns, and the 1 that he ran in, and a passer rating of 134. Wow. He's just absolutely incredible. I just can't say enough good things about how he looked today. And this as well. So Next Gen Stats after the game tweeted this: 49ers deep passing touchdown season leaders. And what they refer to as a deep pass is a pass of 20 or more yards, air yards downfield. So Brock Purdy has 2, and Jimmy Garoppolo has 1. Christian McCaffrey also has 1. So Brock Purdy in his very first start able to get 2 deep 20 yards or more passing touchdowns in his very first start. I mean, that's just incredible stuff. Another underlying thing I wanted to discuss was Christian McCaffrey, because we've been talking the last few weeks about how, like, McCaffrey, yes, he got a lot of carries, but he hasn't been as efficient, and it hasn't mattered much because the 49ers are winning anyway. But you were kind of wondering, is this what we're going to see from Christian McCaffrey the rest of the way? I know he's getting a lot of attention by the defense, but something's got to give. Well, today, Christian McCaffrey, he looked like his old self on the ground again. 14 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown. And did he get any? Let me see. He also had 2 catches for 35 yards. And a touchdown. So McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns today. It just incredible stuff by him. Happy to see him back to his regular form. And we got to see Jordan Mason today too, who looked great. I don't think we saw him until like the third quarter, but he had 11 carries for 56 yards, and he just looked great doing it, as always, looking like a mini beast mode out there. So I hope, with Deebo Samuel being out for a few weeks, I hope that we see more Jordan Mason, because I think Mason deserves those carries. He's a bruiser. He's hard to bring down. So while he's a different runner than, Deebo Samuel, kind of the same he has some of the same attributes where he's hard to bring down, and it's just difficult for the defense. So I want to see more of Jordan Mason. I hope we see that in the coming weeks. And once again, I'm gonna give praise to Greenlaw with the 15 tackles and his interception. Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions today against the 49ers defense. Credit to Sean Gibson and Dre Greenlaw. The last time that Brady threw 2 interceptions was last year, November 21st, 2021, against Washington. And I think before coming into this game, he had only thrown 3 total interceptions this season through 13 previous weeks. So, to get 2 interceptions today out of him was pretty impressive. No sacks by the defense today, but I don't care. I'll take it. I will take that any day because they were able to do a lot better than just sacks today. They were able to get the 2 interceptions. They were able to limit the Bucs to just 7 points. And again, Brock Purdy with a tremendous job being able to score a lot of points with this offense. I mean, we have to give credit. This Bucs defense was no joke. I mean, yeah, they were missing some guys, but they're still a really good defense. This was a big test for the rookie, and he passed with flying colors. So I cannot wait to see what he looks like next week. I think the larger sample size we get, I think it's just going to help us, get an idea of who he is. Right now, obviously, I'm very excited about what he looks like, and just, I want to see more. I want to see more. So the 49ers play Thursday night against the NFC West rival Seattle Seahawks. They can win the division with the win on Thursday. And so I need it. We're hoping for it. And that's all I have for today's episode, though, in my instant reaction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go 49ers. Go Brock Purdy. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.